Hello everyone, I am Everyday Gamer, and I'm gonna do a video today talking about the birth of my love for Nintendo, and where it started and where it is today, and a little bit of it, a little bit in between also. It all started in 1985 when I first saw this very cool commercial, and it showed like Rob the Robot, and it's lightning, and they showed a bunch of games that use the robot, and I was just amazed by it. And I remember telling my mom I really need to get this, and she got it for me that Christmas. And I think I got Kung Fu at launch, and I remember buying The Legend of Zelda a little bit later and just being blown away by that game. And from there it seemed like, you know, from Ghosts and Goblins to Kung Fu, even a small game, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, Blaster Master. That game was super cool platformer with this little car. I don't know, I thought it was really cool. But yeah, that's where it all began. And then when the Super NES came out, I think it was in 1991, and you know, that brought along all types of new technology like Mode 7 and the FX chip in Star Fox, and I really thought that was a very cool thing that they did, and the games really took advantage of that, like you know, ActRaiser and with the map and stuff, and Castlevania with the swinging lanterns. But you know, A Link to the Past was an amazing game, and I don't know, I think it defined that generation. I think that generation also was probably one of the last times that Nintendo dominated the third party scene, and I don't know, I think they really did well that generation. And now let's move on to the Nintendo 64. 64 was a very important system to me. That was the first console that I actually bought myself. That alone was super cool because you know, it's just a sign of growing up and everything. But that generation had so many good games, from GoldenEye to Super Mario 64, which was amazing. It brought a 3D space, you know, into gaming. You know, it controlled so well with the analog stick. I don't know, I just thought it was just groundbreaking. And then, of course, a little later on, the Ocarina of Time came out, which is, to me, probably one of the closest thing to perfection a video game can get. It's my number one on my list. And now let's move on to the GameCube and the GameCube era. And it's sort of when Nintendo started sort of taking a downfall when it came to third parties, and third parties started looking at them in just different ways. You know, there wasn't as many third party titles, but the little that they had were amazing, from Resident Evil, you know, and that game alone was just in my opinion, the best Resident Evil. And the Metroid Prime series that generation were just unbelievable. Now let's go on to the Wii. The Wii, you know, gets a lot of flack for you know, all the whole Waggle thing and then everything like that. But for me, I really enjoyed motion controllers, and I supported it right away, and I got really good at it, you know, using it in Call of Duties and any of the other motion control games. But they didn't really perfected it for me until Skyward Sword came out, and that game was just spot on for me, and it really worked well. And I sort of wish they would have had that success early on. I think it would have changed the perception of motion controls, but at least it found a perfect game for it, and it showed that it wasn't just a fad. Now let's move on to the Wii U and where we are today. And Nintendo is just getting better and better. Now moving on to the HD, now moving on to an HD platform, I think you're starting to see Nintendo's art really come to life. And I'm really enjoying the Wii U so far. And their games in general, this generation so far, have been fantastic. From Mario 3D World to Wonderful 100, which is an exclusive title for the Wii U, and Donkey Kong Country, which I'm not a really big Donkey Kong Country fan, but this game really changed it for me. And I'm really enjoying my Wii U so far, and it just proves that Nintendo hasn't stopped. They've been making great games for over 30 years, and it's just something that I've always loved. And during this day and age where everything needs to be so serious in gaming, we need mature titles, it's always nice to have Nintendo just like balance that out and make games with color and life and with fun. And at the end of the day, in this world of grays and blacks, it's just nice to have Nintendo have a little color.